Awesome. Well, welcome to Alumni Weekend 2022. That was a little weak. I think everyone can do better than that. Come on. There we go. Yes. I mean, still not there, but we'll get there. It's fine. I'm not going to make you do it a third time. Well, I am thrilled to be welcoming you and over 700 alumni and guests back home to campus this weekend for what is sure to be an exciting weekend filled with friendship, laughter, memories, and much, much more. My name is F.D. Trabika. I am a proud 2013 graduate of Loyola University Chicago, a JFRC alum, and current president of the Graduates of the Last Decade. As you've seen throughout the marketing of Alumni Weekend, Loyola alumni have been called home. Back to Chicago, back to campus, back to the place that kick-started so much for so many of us, and most importantly, back to an in-person Alumni Weekend for the first time since 2018. And for a second, I'm going to go off script, and a round of applause for our alumni relations teams for making that happen. I am proud of the continual growth of our alma mater, for a record-breaking first-year classes, for new programming and initiatives like the School for Environmental Sustainability, and the creation of the Office for Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and for moving to the Atlantic 10 Conference, and so much more that has happened over the years. Also, did you see the news about the Schreiber family's incredible $100 million gift? Together, the university, together, the university and the Schreibers aspire, together, the university and Schreibers aspire to create 500 million restricted portion of the university's endowment that would make these resources permanent, empowering students to attend and successfully graduate from Loyola for generations to come. The Schreibers gift is the foundational investment that this planned program, which aims to support hundreds of students, it aims to support hundreds of students when fully funded. A round of applause for that. Loyola is committed to transforming the lives of so many. For these reasons and more, I am proud to call myself a Loyola alum. Loyola has been and will continue to be my home, as it has been and will be for you all. I know my schedule is packed for this weekend, and I hope yours is too. I am looking forward to seeing many of you at events this entire weekend over the next 2 days, and I hope we have an opportunity to connect. It is now my pleasure to introduce a 1986 Loyola alum, adjunct faculty member, and president of the National Alumni Advisory Board, and #1 Rambler fan, Mr. David Kupiak. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Effie. That was very nice. Well, good evening, and once again, welcome. It has been a long time since we all got together, and I'm glad to see everybody here. And hopefully next year, you'll tell your friends what a great time you're having, and there'll be even a larger crowd and more people. But good evening. My name is Dave Kupiak, and I have the honor of serving as the president of Loyola's National Alumni Advisory Board. The National Alumni Advisory Board works together with the Office of Alumni Relations to provide meaningful management engagement opportunities for Loyola alumni throughout the year. The return of this in-person Alumni Weekend is something we have all looked forward to over the past few years, and I couldn't be more pleased to see you all back home at Loyola right now. Tonight, I have the great pleasure of introducing to you Loyola's 25th president, Dr. Mark C. Reed, a distinguished leader and educator at Jesuit institutions for more than 20 years. Previous to his appointment at Loyola, Dr. Reed served for 7 years at the first non-Jesuit president of St. Joseph University at Philadelphia. Before that, he served for 15 years in multiple roles at Fairfield University, including Senior Vice President for Administration and Chief of Staff, Interim Vice President for University Advancement, Vice President for Student Affairs, and Dean of Students. Additionally, he regularly taught courses in two of my favorite classes, calculus and statistics. His career has focused on developing and implementing a strategic vision to strengthen the institutions he has served, particularly in the area of expanding academic programs, strategic partnerships, university finances and endowment, student formation, and advancement of the Jesuit Catholic mission. At Loyola, he will lead the implementation of a new strategic plan to affirm and advance Loyola's legacy and impact as one of the world's leading Jesuit Catholic universities. A student-centered leader, Dr. Reed knows the life of any university depends on the experience of its students. As the father of two Loyola current students, I cannot stress that enough. He values and prioritizes being an active participant in the academic, spiritual, and social life of the university. Dr. Reed is a product of Jesuit Catholic education, beginning with his time in high school at St. Joseph Prep. He earned his BS in mathematics and MBA from Fairfield University, and MED in secondary educational administration from Boston College, and he earned his EDD in higher education management from the University of Pennsylvania. Now, this is my most favorite part. Dr. Reed currently serves as the chair of the Council of the Presidents for the Atlantic 10 Conference. Talk about timing. And serves on the boards of directors for the American Council of Education, the Association of Catholic Colleges and Universities, and the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities. He is chairman of the Board of Trustees for St. Joseph's Preparatory School in Philadelphia. Please join me in giving a warm Loyola Rambler welcome to President Mark C. Reed.
Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful welcome. Before I get to my formal remarks, just a couple of observations. Number one, I want to give a special shout out to a Loyola alumna right over here, Ange Concepcion. Just give it a little wave. We worked together at Fairfield University. You were, I believe, you were one of the hall directors or area coordinators or whatever we called it at that time. And then you went on to do some other things as well. So it's always nice when you walk into a room and you know that there is a familiar face from your past. So I just want to do that. Second, it was mentioned that I teach math as often as I can. So I like numbers. And so, sometimes the numbers just work out. So at St. Joseph's University, I was always introduced as the 28th president. My birthday happens to be the 28th of the month, not this month, but the 28th day of a month. So that was always kind of nice. And when I became the 25th president of Loyola, I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. I haven't heard that number since I used to run out on the basketball court in high school with number 25 on my back. So whatever you need to do to kind of make the numbers work out, sometimes you can do it, is the moral of that story. And I really, final comment about the Atlantic 10 Conference, because I've been asked about this actually fairly frequently since I became president and was announced that I was going to be president here at Loyola. So it is true. As the chair of the Council of Presidents of the Atlantic 10 Conference, it was a little more than a year ago. I had no idea I'd be standing here today at all. But it was a little more than a year ago. I remember the commissioner and I and a few others having a conversation about membership and whether or not we were interested in discussing seriously pursuing or inviting Loyola to be a member. And my immediate reaction was, why haven't we done this already? And I say that sincerely. I mean, when you look at it, it's just a no-brainer from the conference perspective. And very quickly, I realized that everybody unanimously shared that opinion. Now, again, I couldn't have predicted it, but fast forward, now I'm the president of Loyola University Chicago, and I couldn't be happier that we are in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Now, I am the chair. I'm in my final year as being chair, and it's sort of unprecedented. We were at a meeting in June. I'm sitting there as the president of St. Joseph's University. Dr. Rooney is the president of Loyola. And the question is, well, what do we do? We've never had a chair change institutions while serving as chair, and we've never had it happen, especially with a new member. So I said to the commissioner, I'll do whatever the group would like. If they'd like me to step aside, I'm happy to do that. And she says, well, I'm not anxious for that to happen, but we should definitely have the conversation. So we started to have the conversation, and one of the other presidents of the Atlantic 10 School said, let me just interrupt right there. All in favor of him continuing as chair for another year, say aye. And it was unanimous. So what that means is nobody really wants the job. But you do get to run the meetings, you do get to cut off the conversation and get to the point. So there are some perks, and certainly it's an honor to wave Loyola's flag now in that important role. But I will be out of the role in a year, but I will continue to be obviously involved. But really, I just want to say, welcome home, welcome back to all of the alumni, the Ramblers. I'm so happy to be here and to have a chance to meet you all. I've had a chance to meet several of you. I wish I could have a personal conversation with each and every one of you. It really is the honor of a lifetime to have been called to serve as the president of this university, and my family and I are thrilled to make Loyola and this wonderful city home. I'm especially interested in getting to know more of Loyola's alumni. You are the most important legacy any university can create. And any university will only generally go as far as its alumni take them. Think about that for a minute. So I'm excited to see you today and excited to share in Loyola's story and to learn how you are putting your Loyola education into action, because you are part of Loyola's living legacy. I'm called to Loyola by the many ways this university continues to evolve and grow. In recent years, we've added new schools and centers that harness interdisciplinary education, research, and service to address issues in public health, environmental sustainability, racial justice, the rule of law, and I could go on and on. Now, these programs leverage expertise from across our university, adding new dimensions and new opportunities for students in the arts and sciences, law, business, medicine, nursing, and many others. And all the while, we have remained laser-focused on our mission to make Loyola a place of opportunity for all students, and you've already heard a little bit about that. Our students are more diverse and they're more talented than ever. And so we're investing in the programs and the supports needed to educate new generations of leaders with talents and skills that can flex to an ever-changing future. Our mission is about excellence with a purpose, to form engaged, informed citizens who in their lives and their professions serve others and serve the greater good. That's Jesuit education in a nutshell. Now, I feel called to Loyola by its alignment with my own values because Jesuit education has formed me as a person and as a professional. I have been blessed with wonderful teachers, exemplars, and mentors, many of them Jesuits, who have helped me discover who I am. I've had the privilege of teaching, serving, and leading at Jesuit universities, and I understand just how powerful a Jesuit education can be. The evidence of that power is in this room, as I look around it and you look around it. I am drawn to Loyola by the vibrancy of this community, and I deeply appreciate the warm wishes that we have received over the past few weeks from Ramblers like you. Now, the interesting thing about reunions is that every class has a somewhat different take on the Loyola experience, depending on the era you attended. And I can't wait to get to know you and to hear the stories of your Loyola experience, how you remember and you went through this institution. Some things, though, remain the same and always will. And Loyola is fortunate to have the support of thousands of volunteer leaders, donors, and friends. Your time, your talent, and your resources are instrumental to Loyola and so important to our students and scholars. And as part of the Loyola family, you play a valuable role in how we answer the call to accompany our students to the creation of a hope-filled future. Your dedication, your insight, and examples are critical to Loyola's mission, working to expand knowledge in the service of humanity through learning, justice, and faith. Now, before I conclude, I do think it's important to recognize and honor the most important person in the room. And I know I will never be that person as long as Sister Jean is in the room. I'll just end, Sister, if you don't mind, with a little story. Sister and I had a wonderful conversation with Sister my first week here, and the first of many conversations. And I won't divulge that because it was a wonderful personal conversation. I really enjoyed that. But I asked Sister a question. I asked Sister how many days she comes to the office. And she looked perplexed when I asked the question. And I realized I asked the wrong question, because immediately she responded 5. And it's truly amazing. It is truly, truly amazing the number of people, Sister, that I have discovered that you know, and that you have touched and you have impacted. So as we're here today, not only because Sister Jean is here, but we're in the Sister Jean multi-purpose room, I just thought it appropriate to recognize and to thank you for all that you do. So with that, again, thank you. Welcome back to Loyola. Welcome home.
Thanks, Dr. Reed. Just to remind everybody that the room is still open, so please continue to network and reconnect with your friends and staff and faculty and anyone else, and meet new friends. Please stay as long as the room is open. Good night.